of Wyoming, and on behalf of the class of 1986, I'm honored to have been asked to share the sentiments of my classmates. As you may already know, and if not, you will soon learn that Jill Van Logren is incredibly special and quite deserving of this Wyoming School Foundation's Distinguished Alumni Award. When I was asked to share some stories of what Jill was like in high school, I immediately reached out to some of my fellow 1986ers. First, there was Jill's friend, Katie Short-Thompson. Katie said, Jill is special in that she can quickly and easily relate to people, making deep and long-lasting friendships. Ask Brad Goodell, and he'll tell you he has vivid memories of Jill from when they were little kids. He didn't say the memories were positive, as he recalled one in particular from elementary school. He was a little annoyed at how good she was at baseball. According to Brad, Jill and Monique Mason-Halter were two of the best players. Monique had the advantage of being a head taller than anyone, while Jill was just scrappy and a good player. It's not quite the same thing as superhuman strength, but between the baseball prowess and the red hair, Brad said that Jill definitely had a Pippi Longstocking, I can accomplish anything vibe going on. When I asked Carrie Kernan, she said something about Jim Shannon, and to stop the conversation right there. Kelly Neiman reminded me that clearly Jill's ability to relate to others came at a very young age. Jill had friends in all social circles in high school. Kelly truly believes that this is in part what has made Jill so successful. She has an uncanny ability to get along with anybody. She never judges, she never gossips, she's quick to compliment, she can stay calm in the midst of a storm, she goes with the flow. And with all of these wonderful traits, she's smart, driven, focused, and determined. Kelly went on to say that Jill just makes things look easy. But one of Jill's best qualities is that she will find the positive in any situation. Clearly, one's life experiences help shape who you become, but there were some very strong traits that Jill possessed even at a young age. Jill was and continues to be a great friend who will go to the ends of the earth for you, literally the ends of the earth. Whether it's a friend in need or someone who just wants to have fun, Jill will always be there. She's reliable, she's caring, she's funny, she's smart, determined, and she seems to be motivated by the more obstacles you put in front of her. Nothing is too big for Jill to overcome. She's an amazing mom to her two kids and a wonderful and loving husband, a wonderful and loving wife to her husband, John. Strike that trick. I could go on with the many wonderful things that Jill's classmates and I have to say about her, but eventually it would just get redundant. And so, as you know, the more things change, the more things stay the same. That's the beauty of Wyoming, and no matter how old you are, and no matter when you come back to visit, it always feels the same. There's nothing better than that feeling of coming home to Wyoming. Driving down the pike, past LaRosa's, or where Friendly's used to be, Friendly's, that last stop before a Friday night football game, getting a fribble with some sprinkles on top. The feelings never change. The memories of Wyoming will never fade. The experience you have of growing up in Wyoming, along with the outstanding education, well, you might not appreciate that right now, but it will serve you well in life. My friend Jill may be unique in those Wyoming experiences, but they all started right here. Ask Jill and she'll tell you, but I'm just a girl from Cincinnati. Well, this girl just from Cincinnati is killing it. And I hope you'll join me in wishing her all the best in her continued journey, but now as one of Wyoming's distinguished alumni. So thank you again for giving me this opportunity to share just a fraction of what makes Jill Van Logren so special.
Thank you, Andrea. Now to introduce our newest member of the Distinguished Alumni Society, I'd like to call upon last year's Foundation Distinguished Alumni recipient winner, Dan Jones, class of 2014. Dan graduated from Wyoming High School in 1956. Dan is the founder and owner of Newsbank Incorporated, which I'm sure you all are familiar with, to use for research. Through a very generous donation, Dan has provided Wyoming schools with an extraordinary access to Newsbank's many databases and resources. Most of you have probably used Newsbank at one time or another on school projects. At this time, I'd like to recognize a specific example of how you have put that data to use on a specific project. If I could invite Caroline Tiley up here with us. Caroline was one of many students from Wyoming to compete in the Ohio History Day competition up in Columbus earlier this spring. She competed with 400 or 500 other students in the state of Ohio. Caroline was the winner of the exhibit category and will go on to the Nationals in Baltimore, Maryland later this summer. This is a huge honor for Caroline, a huge honor for the Wyoming City Schools. And Caroline has told us that she did all of her research and work on her project using Newsbank information. With that, I'd like to bring Dan up to the podium.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Caroline. One of the things that I do, other than work, is I'm a trustee at Northwestern University. I just met Caroline this morning. I recruited her very hard to fly to Northwestern for next year. My goal this morning for you all is to help you increase your awareness of the tremendous opportunity and the benefits that you have as students at Wyoming. The education that you're receiving here at Wyoming High School is a critically important factor to help you build a strong foundation for the rest of your life. I graduated from Wyoming almost 60 years ago, and I'm incredibly proud to come back to this day. I look forward to hopefully coming back many more days to see you all here. And Wyoming has very much helped me achieve my goals in life. Attending top-notch universities, building a successful international company, becoming a leader in my community. And I put a lot of that on having had the great luck to grow up in Wyoming, Ohio, and go to these schools. My company's Newsbank's mission is to be the best first for our employees, and then our customers, and then our business partners, and then our communities. When you get out in the business world, I think you'll find that most companies say we're going to be the best for our customers, and then other things. I feel very strongly that if you're best for your people will automatically be best for their customers. And I think that's something I wish all organizations could live that way. Actually, I started developing that mission statement while I was here at Wyoming. Being the best is really in line with the way Wyoming strives for excellence in every aspect of its education. People outside Wyoming also pay attention to what's achieved here. That's why U.S. News and World Report and the Washington Post have once again recognized Wyoming as one of the top high schools in this country. These rankings are very important to all of you because I'm a member of the Board of Trustees at Northwestern, as I mentioned, and I've learned that very selective universities factor your class standing by the quality of your school. So that as a Wyoming student, a Wyoming applicant to a selected university, you're going to rank higher than a student with an equal place in their class at a high school that wasn't quite so good. Wyoming gives you a big advantage. You'll also find that your experience in Wyoming will help you succeed in college and your career, as well as many other aspects of your life. Now, there's a group of Wyoming alums who have built very successful lives on the strong foundation started here at Wyoming. And each year, as Peter's described, Wyoming recognizes a new distinguished alum, someone who exemplifies the Wyoming way, sets an example of excellence. These men and women are all leaders in their work and in their communities and with their families. Today, I want to encourage each of you to focus on building leadership skills as you continue here at Wyoming and college. Take advantage of every leadership opportunity that comes your way. That experience will serve you well, no matter what career path you choose in life. Now, this year, I'm very pleased to introduce to you an exceptional leader in the media and communications area, this 2015 Distinguished Alumnus, Jill Van Loper.
And I want to thank Peter Guggenheim, who was my neighbor on Five-Stone Lane, Shelley Brown Kamerska, who nominated me for this award. Thank you, Shelley. I really appreciate it. Dan Jones has been a great mentor for me in this process. Andrea, thank you for your kind words. Ambassador Boya, I don't know how I'm even in some sort of category with you, but all cool. And look, I'm some of my best friends from Wyoming High School are sitting here with me tonight, or today, and it's like 29 years. So picture like the people you're sitting with now, your friends now, like they're still my best friends today. I know you can't even imagine it, but we've been through everything together, and thank you for being here for me today. I love my years in Wyoming. I remember, just my memories start flashing back. Sled riding on the golf course, I'm sure you all did that. Sitting at the squirrel table in Miss Bradley's class in Hilltop. Fourth grade teacher striker, remember this, Miss Schreiber, and I remember she used to get everyone to be quiet by going, shh, shh, and we thought it was so funny, and then I remember the full-on rules of Foursquare in middle school. The teacher's name was Miss Hennins, and does anyone else know it? Hennins, air balls, overhand, sidearm, fair serve, fair return, must, right? So anyway, I have wonderful memories of growing up here. My foundation is very strong. I know you probably aren't even thinking about it right now, but what experience you've had here, it could really trigger quite the life for you. So as I said, I'm Jill Van Lokeren, and I'm an executive vice president at Harpo Studios. I've been there almost 20 years. I produced the Oprah Winfrey Show for many of those years. I supervised, produced the Oprah Winfrey Show. I wrote scripts for Oprah, so when she's introducing the topic and what she's saying, I wrote all of that for years. I've been to the Oscars many times. I've been behind the scenes of TV shows, concerts. I've met every celebrity on the planet. I went to Australia with Oprah for 3 years. And I don't say all this to brag. I say it so you really can hear my message today. Because I sat in your seat. I sat in your seat and I saw through your eyes. I did what you did. I was told I had to go to some assembly with some boring alumni and all that, and like, oh, at least I get to skip class. But I'm telling you, I have something to say, and I hope at least one of you hears it. As I sat there having absolutely no idea how my life would turn out, I probably didn't care either. I was caring like, what cute boys sitting where, the soccer games Friday night, prom, those kinds of things. And that's really all you need to be thinking about right now. But what I can tell you is about my journey and how exciting it's been. And maybe, just maybe, something I will say today will set your wheels in motion, and you too can have the most off-the-hook, amazing life even better than you expected. So here's my headline. Write it down, hashtag it out, scream it from the rooftops. If you hear nothing else that I say today, I say this. Dream big for your life. Dream big, I'm telling you. Because while I might not have been thinking about it sitting right there, I look around all of you, I know where you've been, I see nothing but possibility and opportunity. And here's the good news. Your life is yours to design. I mean, how cool is that? You're in charge of how your life turns out. So I want to start by showing you just a little of what I've been doing since I sat right here on Pendry Avenue.
Hi, everybody. Who would have thought I'm a practical jokester? That this is a personality change I'm having.
20 million people are going to see you on Oprah looking like this.
We
had a major influence on you. How so?
He's the coolest guy.
Yeah?
He's the coolest guy. He's so into being a real person. He's a great writer. He's a spiritual.
President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama.
Wildlife sanctuary to hold a koala. I mean, really a must-do if you're going to go to Australia. This is going to set the tone for the entire week. I mean, this first stop has to knock it out of the park. So you're going to follow the buddy in front of you to the koala sanctuary.
They're friendly. How are you today? They're just like the ones in the store.
Really can't do it. Jill has a full-time job. She's a producer here. 2 young children and a dog. And if she can do it, you can too. Now, following Rachel's simple steps, the party prep is done, right? And Jill is now ready for her first guest. Me.
I'm all ready. I just threw on this little dress. Not really. I obsessed about 2 weeks about what to wear. Like I said, she's going to be here any minute.
Jill?
Welcome to the house. I want to show you around. First of all, my teammate in all of this, Rachel Red.
Teammate.
Here she are.
Hey.
This is your little world here. We took a side table off the wall, pulled it out. We wrapped it in wrapping paper, did a little Charlie Brown shows with the lights.
I'm mixing the drink. Be calm.
The number of lives transformed because of you. Yep, it's staggering.
Please welcome another very good friend of yours. Maria, who's that?
That's Tyler Perry.
You've often said that when you educate a black man, you empower families, you empower sons and daughters, and you change generations. That's exactly what you've done on your show for 25 years and what you've done for 415 men at Morehouse College in Atlanta. A few of those very proud men are here today because of you, to thank you and to show you that by giving them an education, you've helped light up this world. Please welcome Tony Award winner, Christian Chenoweth.
Thought it was possible, and we'll get to that. But first, I graduated from Wyoming, and just like many of you, went straight to college. I went to University of New Hampshire, and I was all into the idea of hotel restaurant management. I didn't really know what that means or what I do, but I was like, oh, that sounds fun. It didn't sound 9 to 5. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm all in. I've worked since I was 12. I had a paper route for the Cincinnati Post. I was the first female caddy at the Wyoming Golf Club. Thank you very much. I worked in Green Tri-County. I waitress, just like our girl Alexis at La Rosa's. Where's my girl who was at our table last night? Hey, girl. I just knew I didn't want a 9 to 5 job, and I know Alexis is horrified, but I couldn't help myself. Anyway, so I go to UNH, and after a little bit of time, I'm like, okay, this is not my jam. I'm not business school. I'm not economics. I have a little more fun here, I think. So off to liberal arts I went. And for all of you, especially the seniors, who keep getting asked, what are you studying? What do you want to be? What are you going to do? I would say that your answer should be, I am excited to find out. And I'm going to be the best me I can be. And if you have no idea what you want to do with your life, see it as a blessing, I'm telling you. Stay curious, ask questions, talk to people. Let your instincts guide you. Again, your life is yours to design. So back at University of New Hampshire, I'm a liberal arts major with no real plan, and I hear about an internship with San Diego State University. I'd never been to California, and I'm like, that sounds cool. So at San Diego, I would go up to Los Angeles all the time, and my whole goal in life was to see one celebrity. Just one. And at that time in LA, there was no internet, I know, hard to believe. So people would be on the streets giving you tickets to random TV shows. So I went to really random TV shows. I saw some classic late night shows, and I even tried out for a game show. But the minute I stepped in the TV studio, my life changed in an instant. I saw all the people running around, crazy behind the scenes, the cameras, producers, and I said, whatever those people are doing, that's what I want to do. It was as simple as that. I love the cameras, the lights, the whole scene. It was an aha moment, a defining moment in my life. I knew in that second I was going to be in TV. But how was I going to do that? So when I went to LA, I told you my number one goal was to find a celebrity. And I searched high and low, and with determination, I made it happen. Hi, John Travolta walking down the street. And it's that same sense of determination that I figured out how to get myself in the TV business. It's out there if you're looking for it. So after San Diego, I go back to University of New Hampshire, and New Hampshire is a lovely state, but not the TV capital of the world. So with the help of my school, I found an internship at a small firm in New Hampshire that makes television commercials, and I did whatever they wanted me to do better than they figured it could get done. I had to spray paint bricks for a lottery commercial, and I did it in 2 hours instead of 2 days. I helped make an oven cleaner commercial. I did whatever they asked. I still, to this day, could walk into that firm and they know who I am. I made my mark. So I was about to graduate college, so I set my sights a little higher. A girl in my sorority got this internship at a show in New York called the Sally Jesse Raphael Show. I'm sure none of you remember that. I was like, I want to do that. So she gave me the phone number, and I had never really been to New York. I think I'd been there once for a weekend. So I flew there for the day. I did my best to impress, and I got it. But here's the thing. At the time, internships were free. You had to either get college credit or work for free. So I said, no problem, I'll work for free. Okay, now I gotta live in New York City, most expensive city in the world. How am I gonna pay my rent? Where am I gonna live? The whole thing was daunting, but I'm in. So I found this apartment that seemed in a good neighborhood. Again, no internet, so it sounded good. It was a 1-bedroom. There were 2 other roommates, all good. The dog had like a seizure problem, but I was all in. I'm like, that works, I'm in, no problem. Sight unseen. The day after college, my little brother, sitting in the front row, dropped me off on the corner of 74th and Amsterdam, in the middle of New York City, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I know I'm meant to be here. So I loved my internship. I got my foot in the door in a major TV show. I was going to make my mark. My boss, he would ask me to, oh, his wife's from Wyoming. She knows you. I just remembered that. Anyway, so, Lynn, I forget her last name. So anyway, he would make me get his car from this major parking garage every day. In the middle of New York City, he had like a fancy car, and I had to turn left on a major street every day, hold my breath. The producers wanted Kit Kats, 3 o'clock, I'm your girl. When my boss traveled, he'd want a treadmill in his room, no problem. I remember the producers called, they needed a giant surfboard on a set and TV in a stadium in San Francisco, no problem. I remember getting the photos of celebrities that would come on the show and call my parents and be like, so when they're talking to Charlton Heston, there's a photo of him when he was 10, and I got that. You know, I was so proud. They would ask for directions to their dentist, no problem. So for the money part, I got a waitressing job at a busy restaurant called Houlihan's. So Alexis, just so you know, always fall back on that. I have the utmost confidence that I know I'll always be employed because I'm a really good waitress. So I interned by day, waitress by night. I made it work, and I had the time of my life doing it. The great news is the Sally Jesse Raphael show paid off, and they hired me full time. Then someone from Sally started this show called with a guy named Maury Povich. And yes, he's still on the air, and I'm sure many of you have seen it, but when it started in 1993, Maury had on regular guests, newsmakers, and celebrities, and no one was taking a paternity test. I love Maury. He is a great boss, and I was so proud to work there, and I know I made my impact, because Maury always said to me, as long as I'm on television, you'll have a job. So hey, if Oprah doesn't work out, maybe paternity testing is a good backup, right? So now to the Oprah story. My mom says in college, I watched the show and I told her one day I'm going to work there. After 6 years in New York City, great TV experience, I found out where to send my resume and I sent it to the Oprah Winfrey Show. Why not, right? What's the worst that can happen? It doesn't happen, but it can, at least I can say I tried. Oprah was the gold star, the tippy top in the TV world. And why would a world icon hire Jill from Wyoming, Ohio? Well, why not? So it took a minute, I didn't hear back. I started thinking, yeah, I'll just stay in New York, I do like it here, keep going, and there's a lot of talk shows, I could just, keep in the talk show world here. But then it happened, I got the call. They said, can you come to Harpo Studios in Chicago next week for an interview? Yes, no problem, I'll be there. I was a senior producer, I had a big job, I had to juggle a lot of stuff to get out of there, but I did it. And when I walked into Harpo Studios, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up, my legs turned to jelly. I just knew I had to be there, and here was my chance. So I interviewed with about 5 people who have 5,000 things going on. They barely had time to talk to me. I'm sitting in their office like, whatever you need, but it was electric, and the people and everyone running around, and I just knew I wanted to be there. And I remember sitting in the executive producer's office, and there was a blank sheet of paper on her desk. And I said, this is how I see this job. It's a blank sheet of paper with nothing but possibility and creativity. And I think she liked that. So I didn't hear back right away, and I was starting to lose steam. And then they called and said, okay, we'd like to offer you a job, and we need you here in 2 weeks. Oh my God, yes, no problem. So I had this 700 square feet of palace, that's palace size in New York City, all to myself. I had this great job and I was dating a guy. I was starting to settle in, I hadn't heard back, so I was like, But then Oprah called, so bye-bye 700 square feet, bye-bye boyfriend, and hello Chicago and Oprah. And I was actually offered the job at a lower title, and they offered me a senior associate producer job, which is kind of 3 steps lower, because they had, so much more of a reputation. And guess what I said? No problem. So I'll never forget when I first met Oprah. I was sitting in a big studio, and the whole staff was in there, and she looked up and she's like, "Who are you?" And I just told her. And 19 years later, I still pinch myself every time we meet. When she calls, we email. It will never get old. So I quickly moved up the ranks at Oprah. I seized every moment. I was in service to the brand, the mission, the message, Oprah proudly. I produced the Oprah Show for years. As I said before, I supervised the Oprah Show for years. After I produced, I supervised, I senior supervised, I was a show scriptwriter for years. And when the show ended, I was promoted to Executive Vice President of Harpo Studios, where I am today. And this summer, I'm moving to California to become Creative Executive Vice President of the Oprah Winfrey Network. I am blessed, I am grateful, and I never take a single step for granted. I will also add that I never once asked for a job, I haven't asked for a raise, a promotion, or recognition. I just did me, I did my job, I found my stride, and the rest just followed. So here I am today standing before all of you with that same look in your eyes that I had so many years ago. And if hearing me motivates even one of you, then I feel it has been a success. So my best advice is this: dream big for yourself. Think about it. The Reds, the Bengals, I don't know if they're doing well, but pretend they are. Maroon 5, Target, J-Lo, American Idol, NASA, Oprah, Pixar, they all have employees. Why can't it be you? Get an internship. They're a way to get in the door, to explore and see if this is a job that interests you. Or like me, if you know what you want to do, get in the door and kick butt and get noticed. Be kind. You don't have to be a pushover, just come from a place of kindness. Be the person you want to work with. Even right now as you sit here in high school, treat people how you want to be treated. Be the person you want to be friends with. And later in life, be the person you want to work with. Be aware of the energy you bring to a room. It helps set the tone for everybody. Through my work at the Oprah Show, I have learned these and so many other invaluable lessons. I've had the unbelievable opportunity to meet people behind the headlines, world leaders, major celebrities. I talked to the teachers and the students of Columbine hours after the school shootings. I hugged and comforted 9/11 survivors, family members, and rescue workers. Those experiences changed who you are down to every last fiber of your being. I know I'm a better person through all the opportunities I've had. And not to mention Oprah herself. To be in her space and energy for 20 years leaves me speechless. I will never be able to explain the power of that. It's been the hardest work of my life, the passion of my life. It defines who I am, and it's my biggest source of pride. I'm not special, but I'm motivated. I have a wonderful husband and 2 very cool children who love and support me on all my fun and often crazy adventures. And I give a big old shout out to Wyoming. If I could take my experience of living here and bottle it and give it to others, I would. My foundation is solid. My roots are firmly planted in this soil. Take your experiences here, good and bad, and grow with it and go with it. I'm telling you. What work teaches me on a daily basis is that everything is possible. I know that my life is mine to design. And that's exactly what you have in front of you, that blank piece of paper with all love and possibility to create the best life for yourself. Stay open to the whispers. See the paths that are illuminating around you. Don't get stuck in thinking you have to figure it all out. That's really boring. Let your heart lead. Tap into your curiosity. People say be passionate, but one of the greatest teachers on the Oprah Show said, stay curious instead. I'm honored to have had this time with you today. That same flutter I get driving to Harpo Studios each day comes back when I come here to Wyoming. Thank you to the foundation. Thank you all for your time. Thank you for your love. I can feel it in the room. And thank you everyone for believing in this girl from 5 Sylvan Lane in the 45215. Thank you.
driving forces behind the Master Educator Legacy Scholarship, or Melee as we call it. To tell you a little bit more about it and present the first 2 scholarships of its kind. The Honorable Ambassador Boyott was born in Cincinnati, and he's a 1951 graduate of Wyoming High School. He received his Bachelor of Arts from Princeton University and a Master's from the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy. After a prestigious career in the Foreign Services, he was chosen to be an American ambassador in 1978 and was nominated and confirmed as the U.S. Ambassador in Colombia. Ambassador Boyott is decorated with awards from the State Department, the Foreign Service, and several foreign governments. He is also the recipient of the State Department's Victorious Honor Award for heroism in helping injured passengers to safety and negotiating passengers' release with Syria during the 1969 hijacking by the Palestinian guerrillas of a TWA plane on which he was a passenger. In 2008, he received a Lifetime Contribution to American Diplomacy Award. Ambassador Boyott has known and worked with every president since John F. Kennedy. Please help me welcome back to Wyoming, Ambassador Thomas Boyott.
Thank you very much, Peter. First order of business is to congratulate Jill for joining the Society of Distinguished Alumni. Welcome aboard, my dear. You definitely improved the neighborhood. The fact that the Wyoming School Foundation has awarded 13 alumni the Distinguished Alumni Award in the 21st century is because during the 20th century, we had an astonishingly capable and successful series of faculties at Wyoming High School. And in recognition of that, about 9 years ago, my brother and I, my brother Mike, class of 52, and others in our general neighborhood, say from 1940 to 1960, decided that we wanted to find a way to recognize those teachers who had meant so much to our successes over the years, but also in a way that would help what is going on today in Wyoming High School. And principally, all of us, but mostly my brother, came up with the concept of establishing 3 programs. The Mary Lou, and each program is named for one of those master educators from our era. The first program is the Mary Lou Culp Scholarship Program. Mary Lou Culp was a teacher of Spanish, English, and the first ever college counselor. The second program is the B.S. Bradbury Scholarship and Resident Program. Brad was the principal of the school, K through 12, for several years, and a substitute father for a lot of us. And finally, the Farrell Betts Guest Lecture Program. Farrell Betts was a teacher of American history, world history, civics, and public speaking, and a genius. Today, it is my honor to present the first 2 Mary Lou Culp Scholarship Awards to 2 teachers from Wyoming High School who won these scholarships in competition among all of their peers. I would like to ask Julie Roush and Eric Kunkel to come up here and share the podium with me. Let me begin with Julie Roush, which is going to go to the Lausanne Institute, which I'm happy to say is in Memphis, Tennessee, and not Switzerland. Which makes it a lot easier on the budget, where she will study the application of technology to primary education. Congratulations. The second scholar, the Mary Lou Culp Scholarship, goes to Eric Kunkel, who's going to the Mayerson Institute to study mathematics this summer, I believe. Congratulations. these scholarships and these programs are now being named in honor of teachers from the 40s and 50s. And I hope that in the future, the classes of the 60s and 70s, and eventually the classes of the 80s and 90s, will contribute to the Master Educator Legacy Endowment and name these programs after their teachers, so that this award will go on forever. Right now, there's enough money in the corpus to last for the immediate future, and we hope it will grow in both of those senses. The second point is that the scholarships are open to teachers, administrators, technical staff, coaches, everybody that keeps this excellent organization going. Bailey has started the process of giving back. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. I'd also like to recognize Ambassador's brother, Mike, who's been very instrumental in putting this Melee Scholarship together, and one of our current Board of Trustee members, Nancy McHugh, who has also been very helpful in this program. It's very exciting to see the Wyoming faculty take advantage of continuing education to help you students at Wyoming. That concludes our ceremony for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a little bit about it. We are going to break down into small groups, and I'll let Ashley tell you a little bit about it, but you are going to meet this panel one-on-one, ask them questions, challenge them, confront them,